Okay. And is there any other? I'm going to do screen share in a minute. Boop. But also, like, what this does is, like, for people who are always like hesitant on, I don't know if I want a reading or not, it lets them get an idea of what it is they're paying for, so that way they know that, like, it's not money wasted. Like, one thing I like, again, like, I didn't grow how do I say? I was listening to a Dumbfounded podcast, and he was talking about how his mom caught him with a bong, and she's about to smash it. He's like, "Mom, that's expensive," and she's like, so all she had to hear was it was expensive, and she didn't smash it. I'm like, that's how you know that's not a white parent right there. You know?
No, you're not.
He's doing a reading on Zoom. Okay, so screen share. Screen share. Where is it? Ah, there it is. Okay. Okay, this is your chart. So if you look, is all your birthday information correct?
The birth time.
I'm glad I said something. I'm glad I asked. Hold on. 7:15. That was my fault. Boop, boop. Oh.
No, yeah.
Oh. I must have clicked on the wrong person's chart then. Why did it say 12 then? That's weird. All right. Anyways, so everything you see on the left side of your chart, that is dominant energy. Everything you see on the right side of your chart, that is submissive energy. Everything on the top half of the chart, that's extroverted energy. And everything on the bottom half of your chart, that is introverted energy. So if I were to say, like, diagnose your personality, then you're an introvert.
Spot on.
Enough said. And so over here, your rising sign is in Gem. That is a mama's boy, if I've ever seen one. Your rising sign is in Gemini. So, right, so the rising sign is the first house. It's your house of self. It's your house of identity. It represents how you perceive the world and how the world perceives you. And it's the first, like, 10 to 15 years of your life. And Gemini represents external socialization. So it's like shallow communication. Where is this button I was looking for? There it is. It represents shallow communication, surface level communication, and it represents, like, siblings, aunts and uncles, cousins, et cetera, et cetera. So your identity is shaped around your community, the people. You are in this constant state of learning new ways to talk, learning new skill sets, learning new ways to present yourself. And a lot of the times that people think that Gemini is two-faced. It's not that they're two-faced, but they're always in that state of learning how to do new things. And so people expect consistency, and that's not a sign you should expect consistency from.
So your childhood, big Scorpio.
What?
Being like Scorpio with like a fixed water, and then there is that. It's just like,
yeah.
I am like polarizing.
It's part of life, you know? And so then the other part of it is with this Gemini rising, this is a very anxious childhood with, like, a lot of, and I say anxious because, like, Gemini represents the nervous system. And I just picture someone who's just like, like, imagine at a family gathering and all the aunties and uncles are swarming you. You're just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. There's so many people. Please, why are there so many of you? You know, or like being at like a class event.
Out here versus like, I never really feel like I pull back until lately I think the meditation sort of fucked me up. Good time.
The meditation. What? How did meditation?
Well, my mom, she told me to do to start on meditation, and so I actually sat down and just sit down. I don't really feel anything while doing it, but then I don't know if that would fuck me up though. Or is it just I'm just going deeper? I feel like I'm just going deeper. That's why. Okay, that makes more sense now.
Okay.
All right, sorry.
¿Cómo ça va?
No, it's just introspection. Yeah. Yeah.
So why do you disassociate so much?
Whew, I don't know what.
What this?
Maybe because it's a lot. Oh yeah. Well, okay. Yeah.
Well, because sometimes what happens with Gemini placements is that like, and I've noticed this, like sometimes they when you show more emotion, the more emotion you show around an air sign, the more likely they're going to go like not. It's like they don't want to take up space. So it's like if you want, I would say if you want to mess with someone who has a lot of air sign placements, you talk to them very monotone. Act and you pretend like you just do not care and do not react to anything they say. And it sometimes will make them more comfortable, and sometimes it'll make them anxious as fuck. Because it's like, why are you just staring? Why are you not reacting? It just makes them. It gets the nerves going, you know. But it makes reaction.
It's like, yeah, reactive, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't help because when you have a Gemini rising, it's how you perceive the world. So it's like you have a fiery mom and a fiery dad. And so you naturally, and I'm not saying you don't do this intentionally, but because you give off that Gemini aura, you not gaslight your parents, but they're ignited by your presence because air fuels fire, you know? So you unintentionally stimulate the fire signs around you into this like, mindset.
So is it normal for someone to associate so much with their ascendant sign?
Yes and no. Some people get in this whole
what the fuck? Okay.
They get in this whole I want to decolonize astrology thing, and I'm just like, sis, you realize that like Western tropical astrology is like a clusterfuck of like Northern Africa, Western Asia, and Southeastern and Southern Europe. So it's like, you know, and like if the closest thing to like, and plus every culture has their own astrology. So for example, if you go to the parts of Vietnam where they practice Hinduism or Buddhism, you would use like Vedic astrology because that's based on that spiritual system, you know. But there's also like the do y'all call it the Chinese zodiac or you call it the lunar zodiac? Like the year of the rat, year of the dog.
I have no idea.
And I only ask that because it's like if a Korean person's celebrating it, and I'm like, yeah, happy Chinese New Year. I'm Korean. Happy, you know.
It's yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I'll just say the lunar because like I'm not gonna call them Chinese, you know. So
it's okay.
But well, like this is where,
but yeah, since I don't really have a grasp on it either, that's why I feel like everything is just intertwining.
If it helps you understand, the planet Jupiter is actually synced up. So someone said, "Oh, what signs do the years represent?" Technically, year of the rat is Capricorn, because Jupiter was in Capricorn. Every year of the rat, Jupiter has been Capricorn. Jupiter has been in Capricorn, and right now Jupiter is in Aries right now. But like when the Chinese New Year hit this year, or the Lunar New Year, it was in Pisces. So Jupiter was in Pisces during this time. I don't know what comes after the tiger, but whatever comes after the tiger, it'll be Jupiter in Aries. You know? So that's an easy way to remember it. Like, just start with Capricorn and go down from there.
Okay.
Now, your eighth house. This is the house of like trauma, transformation, evolution. This is also power and control. And this is in Capricorn. Capricorn's a sign of the father. It's the sign of basic systemic structures. It's basic common sense logic. So this is trauma centered around security. And so that full moon in Capricorn transit that happened yesterday, that happened yesterday, I would like, oh, this for Gemini risings, this would have brought out this emotional awareness of all their traumas all over again, you know? So like, I would say like, the person I just read, for example, that entire reading kept looping back to her initial trauma. And I was like, I do not mean to do this. This is just where it keeps going, you know? And so like, this would be a fear of failure, a fear of being a burden, a fear of success, because success raises the expectations, meaning the failure will be twice as painful if you actually fail. And then it's just this feeling of like, you can never really feel safe because the goalpost keeps getting moved, you know? And when you are, like I said, when you are successful, it kind of gets held over your head like, oh, Ethan did this, has this accomplishment. Ethan, now you got to be this, you got to be this, you got to be this. And you're just like, I'm tired. I need a drink.
Yeah.
Does that make sense though? Yeah. Where does that show up in your life?
I say work.
Oh, what do you do for a living?
Oh, I deli work.
You what?
I work at a deli.
Oh, so you just like food. Is it family owned or is it like a local one?
Just local one. Because I'm waiting for my green card. So it just I just swing jobs to jobs, whatever I can hold down, which I don't.
When did you come to the US?
20. I came to Washington in 2012.
Mm.
So yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Was it like, did your whole family, was it like your family over
My
here?
parents divorced in 2014. So my mom is in Australia with her new and then my dad is just in Vietnam. So we are all continental. Yes.
Oh, that makes sense. Talk
And
about
then I grew up moving around a lot. So I'm just like, stability, what's that? Yeah.
huh. That makes sense.
But also
What caused your parents to, what caused the divorce? Was someone cheating or?
oh wow. Yeah. Well, what I hear from my mother was that she foresight that my dad and my adopted sister, I consider her, she was one of the helper because my mom and my dad, they're both on the travel, so they just hired two helpers to help out in the family. But it's like an extended family to me. But yeah, what she saw was my dad and her cheating on each other. And so my mom, as she just know her foresight.
Wait, was
Therefore,
she
it's just
the
like,
helper?
nope.
Was it like a maid or like a butler?
Basically, yeah.
Not the maid. Not the maid. What the telenovela is going on here? Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Okay. Okay. That'll happen. That'll happen. So then, like,
poor me.
stuff over there. The person I read before you, all her stuff was stuffed into Pisces, and yours is yoinked. Bless your heart. And so, oh, do you have any siblings?
Yeah. Taurus sibling. Both are homos. on top of that whole thing. Which is really not a problem, actually. No. We just, yeah.
So are you the only straight? Are you the straight one, or are you all? Or are you all?
Oh, we're all, yeah.
It runs in the family. Come on. No, and it's funny because Leo was the sign of pride, right?
Okay.
But here's the worst part. It's in your third house, and the third house is the house of siblings. It's like pride in the siblings. We love that. Oh, I love that energy, you know? And so with your third house being in, this is the house of how you, again, it's a house of socialization. Lots of validation. It's like mom, is this okay? Dad, does this look good?
Oh.
It's a lot of, because people think that Leo is narcissism energy.
I need to know.
Yeah.
Like, am I?
Yeah.
But it's like so exhausting to be around. Yeah.
No, because people think Leo is narcissist. I'm like, no, they're not asking for attention. They want to know that they don't look stupid, you know? So it's like they want to make sure that their pride isn't misplaced. So if a Leo says, does this make me look fat? Tell them it makes them look fat so they can go change.
Wait. Yeah.
But with your Mars being in Leo, you take Leo as a sign of the performer, the entertainer, the showcaser.
That's what she was trying to do.
You said what?
Oh, I'm thinking about my mom. And me and her relationship. It's like I love her to death. Bottom line. But it is a lot. Oh my God. Yeah.
I believe you. Because the gag with Leo with Mars, you take action through. You may not be someone who likes a lot of attention, but everything you do brings attention to you. And you could just like walk in the back, oh my God, Ethan. And you're like, what? What'd I do? Ethan slay. You're like, I didn't do anything. Why is everyone staring at me? You know, so you have this natural, I don't know if you ever were into like music or artsy or anything creative, but like you have a natural performance energy to you. So it's even like you could literally walk on a room and fart and they'd be like, yes, queen. Come on, methane gas. Come on, methane output. Bean burrito slayage.
Nothing. Hi.
Does that make sense though?
It makes sense.
And also, Mars is a planet of like aggression and survival instincts. So that can mean like
it get existential.
It can mean aggressive conflicts with siblings. It can mean aggressive I mean English isn't your first language, so obviously there's struggles with like certain communication, but it can mean like
we never really talks a lot to me and my brother. We fought a lot. My God. It's yeah.
Over what?
Everything. It's
Are you the oldest or the youngest or the middle?
Oh, okay. So that's I'm the oldest until recently that I found out my mom has aborted two of my older brother and sister before us. So I was the middle child. I'm the third. I just looked at you. She decided to open up about that, and I'm just here like,
what? Why? Was it your dad's, or was it just like an unwanted pregnancy, or?
I think unwanted. Yeah. It's a whole social. The whole. Yeah. She was under a lot of pressure.
That makes sense.
How do I know? Yeah. Oh man.
So wait, how old are your younger two siblings?
My brother is 17 when I was 23, so we are 6-7 years apart.
So you know that because your younger siblings are Gen Z, right? You're the one millennial.
I know. What does that mean?
The lone millennial.
Enlighten me.
So The millennial generation is defined, it's Pluto and Scorpio. So Pluto and Scorpio is like, Pluto and Scorpio is like trauma through everything, because like Scorpio is the sign of trauma. You know, it's the sign of trauma. So it's just like, it's a lot of
Well, if there's one way to learn.
it's the millennial
But
generation
no.
was often told that you have to do things this way for your life to be successful. And they did that, and it was not that way. You know, whereas Gen Z is like, fuck it all, we don't care. Because Gen Z is, they have trauma. Gen Z is really, really smart, but too smart for their own good. I love being Gen Z, but my peers, they're stupid. They talk the talk, but they cannot walk the walk. All right.
Let's skip a generation. Is that even true? The whole like Gen Z, Gen X, skipping a generation. I'm
When
married to an Aquarius right now who is like 23 years older
you're
than me.
married to an Aquarius, why would you do that to yourself?
I
Is it a me, John?
well,
Is it a me, John?
I needed well, first of all, I needed a green card and I like let's take that.
Oh God, do what you gotta do.
Do what I gotta do.
Do what you gotta do. So then like,
But it's just so much yeah, he's great. Overall.
as long as you're happy, that's all that matters.
It's just so light and oh.
Okay, well, what does this me dang know? I don't know much. So then like here's the other part though. Like, did you ever
It's okay.
what's the word? It's interesting because you have with Mars and Leo, there's a lot of like, please don't talk to me, I want to be left alone, but if you ignore me, I'll cry.
Okay.
You know? What was your dream job growing up?
I like to dance. That's all I can think of on top of my head right now. Yeah. Something expressive, but I think it just keeps it fun for me. Yeah.
So now,
Mhm.
I'm looking at your second house. Your second house is your house of like money, income, values. And it's weird.
I don't
You were
really have a
raised in an
dream.
environment that was very centered around family, but in a twisted kind of way. Because it's like, obviously you love your family, you care for your family. But
Mhm.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
You
Yeah. Because
And
it's
so,
sort of like I haven't even discovered my own traumas. Then on top of that, now I am open to just listening to everyone. And so I'm just like, okay, I need to be super aware of what kind of boundaries. Boundaries is what I need. Don't internalize everything, because now I'm not like, I'm in a mess of like, is this even my true, like, is this even mine or is it theirs? And it's just not clear at all.
and actually that does happen with Gemini, anything that's common, where they're mirroring someone and they go and they end up mirroring someone who went through some stuff. And they're carrying that person's trauma with them. It's like, wait, this isn't mine, you know, because it's a habit though. Like they don't realize it till much later down the road. And then the issue becomes, it's like, oh, they lashed out at all these people who they thought were like.
Does that have to do with my Cancer moon?
I don't know what you're talking
Are they
about.
psychic?
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you? I have no idea what you're talking about. All I mean is that like but you also value vulnerability. Like you value emotional transparency to a certain extent. Like even it's like you value deep. Like if someone this happens to a lot of air sign risings where people just walk up to us and just tell us everything. I did like a zodiac. I was like, send me your zodiac sign confessions. And this one person was like, I was
I think
walking outside of
this
Taco Bell,
thing,
and this
like,
random man walked up to me and was like, here's how you rob a Taco Bell. And when he saw that I didn't care about how to rob a Taco Bell, he started hitting on me in front of my fiance. I'm a Libra rising, by the way. This happens a lot. And then she's like, I was going to go get some fried chicken. And then everyone within the 30-foot radius busted out into Tai Chi for some reason. What is my life, sweetie? You know, which like air sign risings have a lot of what the hell just happened moments in their life. It's a lot of just random what is going on here moments. And so you may run into a lot of big personalities, people who are just like, hi, Ethan, how are you? Nice to meet you. We're friends now. You have no say in the matter. You're my friend. And you're just like, oh, okay, okay. You know? Making sense?
yes. Yeah.
Just so you know, I do work, part of my job is I am a teacher. So if I'm like, does that make sense? I need a verbal yes, people.
Yeah.
And also, was there a point in time where you got ghosted a lot, or when you were ghosting people a lot?
I do.
Why?
Yeah, that is a fair question.
What were you the one getting ghosted, or were you doing the ghosting?
I do the ghosting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wow. Whew.
Let me clarify.
I don't even go out. I'm just sort of like, let me just be in my zone. But then also be like, why didn't I go out? It's just like, but
I asked that question for this.
Thank you for like, yeah, it has to like go there for me to be like, okay, let me process this. Ask that question.
So you have Sagittarius in the 7th house.
I do?
Sagittarius, yeah. Everyone has all the signs everywhere in their chart. And the 7th house is the house of relationships. Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
What?
That little asteroid that says Narcy?
I'm sorry?
You see the asteroid that says Narcy?
Narcy, okay, yeah.
That's the narcissist asteroid, which means all your narcissism shows up in Sagittarius energy.
I have wondered this. Oh my God.
And it shows up specifically because 7th house Sag, you have a habit of jumping into relationships too fast, too soon, too quickly, and burning yourself out. And not, I don't mean like love, I mean like across the board, friendships, work relationships, even back before you were married. It's like, hi, you're my best friend now. Oh my God, this is overwhelming. I gotta go. Where it's just like, you're not pacing yourself.
That is so, oh my God. That's the one thing that I'm still learning to do, is to pace myself. Until this day, I'm like, that's truly is the issue here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the problem when you pace yourself, you get, how did you meet your husband?
How do we meet? Like, can you remember the app?
Grindr, Jacked, Bumble, Tinder, Blued.
Gruff, I think.
So, he has a type. He has a type.
If it worked. My God. He does.
I'm like, you have a type, not him. I'm like, he has a type.
Oh, me?
Yes. But how did it progress? Give us the story. Tell us the like. Was it love at first sight? Did you ghost him and he had to chase you?
I think it's this, because there's so much I don't know about myself, and so Oh my God, no way. I'm just thinking back about the trauma thing. Do they link? God damn.
Link with your
Daddy
husband?
issue. I'm thinking about it right now. Just like, oh no. Um,
What happened?
oh, because I'm just never have my dad around. That's like literally never. Yes,
Oh,
and I'm
yes,
just
that's
like,
linked. Yes, that is if that can happen, and that's a very common. My degree is in sociology, so I study behavior. This helps how I study behavior patterns. If when you lack a consistent father figure, it does make you seek out that in relationships because it's a matter of safety. Because if you think the role that
security.
yeah,
Oh
it's a sense of
wow, and it's
security,
how I'm viewing that. But
but it's
most of
also someone
everything is coming from my mother.
but it's
She's the
also someone who
provider.
validates your own masculinity. Because especially for gay men, the dad helps them feel valid as a man. And if you never got that from dad, you're gonna probably date someone who makes you feel valid as a man. So it may be someone who is drastically different from you because it's like if they're like if it's an older white man, for example, he has to see the differences in the relationship to work. He has to see the difference. He can't. What is he going to do? Say that he's also Vietnamese all of a sudden? That would make no sense. It's like when the differences are that drastic, it allows you to feel more valid in your identity. So, for example, like I say, there's two types of people. There's people who come into their culture by being raised around it, and there are people who come into their culture by being the only one there of that culture. So sometimes in the U.S.
I
you may
don't
feel
quite
more.
understand that part yet.
You say what?
Oh, the people, the two type of people that you just talk about. Can you
Mhm.
repeat that, please?
The people who feel valid in their culture because they grew up around it and they were raised in it, or the people who are validated in their culture because they're the only ones there that have that culture, and it's more of an exclusive thing, you know.
Mm.
Versus like, is
Um,
your husband white or is he
yeah,
Hispanic, black?
he's white, white and Jew until recently he found out he's Scottish. He did the whole like,
Okay,
like the tree thing.
well, dang.
His brother did it, and I'm just like, okay.
So, for example, like in
No.
your case, like you like between you and your husband, who's the more Vietnamese one? The one who's Vietnamese, duh. you know, versus like, imagine if hypothetically, because this does happen in some places, if you dated a Vietnamese man and he's like, well, I'm more Viet than you know, which is like sometimes for some people that
Okay
can be
with that.
incredibly validating, you know, but it varies. It depends on like how you were raised. Like, you're Vietnamese, you are. Like, that's not that goes without question, I think. Is there a
What is
question?
that getting at? Hang on. Culture. Yeah. See,
Do you
yeah,
understand?
no, ideally, yeah, ideally I would have for someone to share the understanding, like the cultural understanding,
Mm-hmm.
rather than being the only person to just sort of like, okay, in the relationship. Yeah.
Mm. And now your first house, no, your second house and your side question, is there sexual
Mm.
trauma in your history?
Sexual trauma.
I only asked that for this reason. Let me clarify. Because you have Mars with Mars in the third house, that means aggressive energy and starting new relationships. But you also have Venus in Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of trauma, and
mm,
Venus is love and desire. And so Mars, that, that usually is like that can be a sign
oh
of
my
like
God.
not
Okay.
so happening.
Um, yeah, I did not have an idea what it means to have consent until recently, like sexual consent. And so, yes, about trauma, I wouldn't say it, I would say it had not affected me the way I am knowing now with what it can do. Then it just sort of like linked back to it. But yes, let's just say that yes, and yeah.
Was it just like past flings gone wrong, or is it more from childhood?
It was more like well, LGBTQ is not well, it's not accepted until like recent. Well, it's still very new to the whole Vietnamese culture.
Mhm.
Therefore, like everything was sort of like hidden away and did in secrecy.
Mhm.
So, what I found out, and this is so, oh my God, that is so sad. My mom's coworker, um, and I was 17, and so we were, we, yeah, we did the deed while he was already married with two kids, and then we were also neighbors apart, like in the same like complex. So that was after I came back from Wisconsin, before like 3 months before came in I came to Seattle. So that happened. And also, but the rest of that was like way back, and he definitely was not. I was definitely underage here. Like I was
Mhm.
definitely underage, and he a man at his 40, 50, married, two kids. Yeah, so that just
Mhm.
make a lot of sense now.
No, it's sad that that's a common experience in the gay community.
Mhm.
Now, because here's the thing with Venus and Scorpio, and with Mars and Leo, this is this.
But no,
Do you
like
love your
sexual trauma, no, I did not have.
Ethan? That counts, Ethan.
That
That
counts.
that
Okay.
counts, Ethan.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Not having a sense of consent, that's not a good thing, Ethan. That doesn't lead to good experiences,
No,
Ethan.
no, it's not. That's
And so
not
like,
making me
let me give you
okay.
an example. So like, for example, like Mars, so you with the relationship between your Venus and your Mars, right?
It's not like I'm so aware of it, but like I don't think I'm not aware of it. That's what it was. It's
No,
just like
it's that's what it's
shit.
sounding like to me. It's not that, and that's actually normal because some people don't see certain things as traumatic because it's not like they don't see certain things as traumatic because they may have gotten what they wanted out of a situation,
Right. Yeah.
or
I
or
see.
or they got something else in their life that counteracted that, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But with your Venus being in Scorpio and your Mars being in Leo, is very like, look at me, look what I can do. I want this, give me that. Be proud of me, be prideful in me. I'm proud of myself. Whereas Scorpio is all about like deep, intense emotional passion. The Scorpio doesn't like arrogance. So sometimes,
That clash, doesn't it?
you know
My
what?
God, it
It
clashed. Oh,
clashes. Yes, it does clash. But here's the thing: sometimes people with Scorpio placements will try to punish their Leo placements. So sometimes, for
oh my
example, a
God.
form of
Oh my God, I'm
self-harm,
so hard on myself lately. I'm just been stiffening. Like,
but
as
the
in,
whole Ethan, one second. Sometimes a form of self-harm may be, I'm not going to give myself a healthy relationship because I don't think I deserve one. You know,
mm,
that's how sometimes they think. Even though they know what a healthy relationship would look like, they don't quite know how to attain it. And then they get mad at themselves because they don't know how to attain it, and then they just self-harm through unpleasant experiences again and again and again. But with Venus and Scorpio, again, you desire something deep and passionate, and I'm sure I mean, you're married, so I'm assuming you have that. I mean, do you have that with your husband, or
um, I'm sorry.
like the deep passionate emotional bond? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
mm,
The pause had me concerned. I'm like, this you pause a little too, that's not me, that's concern.
no, yeah.
I mean, how long have y'all been married?
Yeah, 5 years and going.
Oh, okay. I had to math it back. I was like, wait, how old are we again? And so how did he pop the question or did you pop the question?
I popped the question.
You popped the question.
Right. Well, I got need. So I'm just like, okay, well, right,
You said
because
I got needs. You're my husband now.
yes, that's yeah, but we dated. We dated and then it's still fast to it's still quick, but that was oof, that was fast. That was so fast though. That is still very fast. We met in November and then I moved in June of next year, and then within that same month we got married. So that was less than a year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What? Morago? Nani?
Well, my cart was expiring, so I was like, gotta. But
It's the unapologetic. I needed a green card. Damn. I mean, hey, at least you knew, because some people they are like, oh, I'll just join the military. That's what some people do.
yeah.
Also, I'm very curious. Hey, you are. So then question, what is it you love about your relationship?
Open communication. Wow. Yeah. Open communication. Very
Is it to your needs?
yeah, very light. Also erratic though. It is erratic.
How so?
Saw stars joining the chat. Hello. I don't know. It's just not erratic. Erratic is on my part. It's unexpected and I like unexpected. It's just exciting. It's exciting. Yeah. So like yeah, going out, having a social life, those are the part that like usually um I do, but it's just not, it's so like superficial level for me. Yeah. Why is that? Why is that? I don't get it.
Immigrant things. It's like, for example, what's considered superficial for you?
Because I keep stressing this. It's just like the whole like I cannot slow down enough to understand what I'm taking in just yet. And then there's the pressure of having to, just push forward and just catch up with everybody else. But that won't not make sense because then that means I'm not pacing at my own pace. But
do you have any neurodivergent disorders like ADHD, borderline, bipolar?
at this point, I don't even, if I can self-diagnose, I'm pretty sure I have those. Yeah, it's just like if I'm having to be 100% out here to fully like doing my job right, it's just like I am focusing on so many things at once. So is that ADHD? Yeah, where I'm just like every little thing caught my attention. Every little thing.
Not necessarily.
Like
It can
sound.
because this is just me giving, even though I can't diagnose you, but based on like I legally can't, but based on what I'm observing, I do see some anxiety. I do see some anxiety ticks here and there.
Mhm.
I don't
A lot
know,
of
like
it.
I'm seeing. The anxiety ticks are there. In terms of ADHD, in terms of I see you trying to process things and having a hard time. So like I don't, but I'm not. Do you get like random food cravings? Like like you really want something sweet, or you really want something salty, or you really want something more savory?
Not extreme. It's there, but not extreme.
Hmm.
Mm.
As of right now, I can only really.
Then I don't think I have it though. No.
No, because the only reason I ask is ADHD is a dopamine deficiency. So like the chemical in your brain that produces like dopamine, I mean, the part of your brain that produces dopamine is it's kind of out of whack. So the cravings is your brain saying, I need dopamine. Get me something that makes me produce dopamine, you know? So like it's not like binge eating. No, it's not like binge eating, but like
Could it
for
be
example,
like just the signs, like the symptoms are there, but not covering everything?
yeah. Like it's like I see, and plus it's like for example, like I do see some stuff from like, okay, this could be like a touch of autism, or some slight signals of like some autistic trait.
Kind of relate. It's sort of like means, yeah.
Yeah, a touch of autism. So like, and so like it's. I mean, can you afford therapy?
Okay. I mean, with the app, I'll look into that.
Yeah, because like I would say this, because like I can definitely tell you're not neurotypical, but I don't know what you would have. Like because a lot of neurodivergent disorders blend. Because you see it's like a lot of sporadicness. So like it may be BPD, but again, I can't diagnose that. I wouldn't be able to tell some. Can't the signs kind of blend together after a while. So like there's a lot of overlapping symptoms. So yeah. So
no, but thank you. Yeah, it's
yeah. So and I'm not saying go get it because it's like it's horrible, but like it's better to get evaluated. And like when I was diagnosed when I was 16, and my parents were explaining, and the doctor's just like, well, as you've been sitting here talking, he's zoned out like 5 times, so I can assure you, like it's there, you know. But it was specifically ADHD though. So, and the reason I would say get checked is in POC communities, those disorders are more likely to go unchecked and undiagnosed. Like there's a lot of undiagnosed Black people walking around the US with all these mental health disorders, and they're just not getting checked, you know? And so like, even though like we come from cultures that don't really like encourage therapy,
Asian culture,
but like,
and
but I
can see that.
It's better to get checked and have an explanation for certain behaviors than to be like beating yourself up over something that you cannot control.
Yep.
Like if you have like a episode out of nowhere, just spiraling, and there's no cause of it, nothing triggered it, it is just happening. That's probably a sign, you know. And it's I've seen people beat themselves up over having these episodes that they cannot control. It's like
I definitely do that. So I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah. So like even though like sure you may not get family support of it, but it's better to know where it comes from, because because some people just internalize it, and next thing you know,
that's when I was like, my thought earlier, which is like, oh, I should be a lot more aware about the things that I'm gonna internalize.
Yeah, because like, and here's the thing.
Yeah.
I can and
work
can't
on that.
see it.
Work on that. Yeah.
I can and can't. Like, you can't use astrology to diagnose stuff. However, you can use astrology to understand how the behavior fluctuates. Like for example, like Geminis, for example, are for some reason are a lot more prone for like bipolar disorder, even though being a Gemini doesn't mean you have bipolar. But both Pete Davidson and Kanye West are neurodivergent. Like Kanye is bipolar. I think Pete Davidson has like BPD. Difference though is that like Pete's a Scorpio. Scorpio is known for having super intense emotions. Gemini is not known for having super intense emotions, but they feel their emotions through talking things out. And, you know, Kanye can go on these rambling long tangents, you know? So it shows up differently in everybody. That's why it's like, it's always best to get checked and go to multiple doctors. Cause I went to like 3 or 4 different therapists and they all confirmed, yeah, you have ADHD, you know? And like I went to a white one. I didn't go to a black one, but I went to a white one. I went to two white women, one dude, he was like Turkish, and another dude, he was like, he's Indian, you know? So I got I was given a referral by my principal who was Black, and he went to my church. So it was a community effort. You know? So, and always like, also make sure if you can, look for an Asian therapist. They're out there, but look for an Asian one.
I see. Yeah.
Because there'll be some, because for some people, they won't be able to separate like cultural, they'll misread cultural mannerisms as something that it's not, you know? I'm aware that I grew up in a military town, right? So there's a lot of Koreans where I grew up. And I already knew that they said that like parents saying I love you is not part of, it's not something that you just like, it's not part of the vocabulary. It's not that they don't love you, it's just not part of the vocabulary.
Right.
You know?
It's casual. It's just like they treat it on like a casual level of like why saying that, as compared to like over here it's like, yeah, why can't you say I love you? Like it's a, you know, like yeah, that they don't even think about it that way.
Yeah, it's good to have, like it's still something that's nice to have.
It
you know,
it is.
it's like how, and I love you here and there. Like
yeah.
Like have you seen Turning Red, for example?
No.
So it's a Disney movie. It just came out recently, so don't feel bad if you haven't. It's about this young girl. She's like 13 in the early 2000s, and she's a Chinese girl living in Vancouver. And she's talking about how she doesn't want it. Her mom is Tiger Mom, obviously, and she doesn't want to disappoint her mom because she loves her mom, you know, but she's scared of like, she's getting older, you know, puberty's hitting. She's starting to have likes and dislikes that are different from her mom's. And she doesn't want to lose the relationship she has with her mom just because she's finding herself, you know? And then that movie explores that bond that you see with certain Asian.
Oh my God, wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely had gone through that where I'm just like, oh my God, that is so extreme to think about. Like just communicating with my mother, because I feel like, oof. But then I'm just like, no, it's love in the end. So that's just steer me right back to, yeah.
Yeah, like for another example, like I was in New York, was it last month? It was last year. I was in New York last year, right? And everyone was staring at me. And I didn't understand why, because like I've been in New York before, and I wasn't wearing anything particularly worth well,
is New York
I wasn't
more of a mixed pot than a lot of the city? I just have a feeling that New York is just a lot more.
Oh, it is a lot.
Yeah,
it is a lot. It is a lot. And so everyone's staring. It was I will say this, it was specifically the Asian people staring. And I was like, why am I what did I do? I was wearing my Stop Asian Hate shirt. That's why they were staring. Because recently there were a lot of, they were getting,
the whole, but then they're like, probably just so deep in thought that it's just like, oh no. And then they're not even aware that they're staring and like pausing. So it's from,
I was sitting in a corner. I'm sitting in a corner, and these groups of people are all staring at me. Like, what did I do?
Asian community,
you know. An elder woman came up, an elder Korean woman. She came up to me and she was talking to me about like celebrities and gave me like about African celebrities that are popular in Korea. And then she gave me this little like, it was like a herbal medicine for my mask. And I was just like, I'm so confused. And then I realized it was because of my shirt, you know. It didn't click though, because I was just like, in my mind, I'm being stared at, you know? But so like, even then, like, but that is a subtle way of saying thank you for your support. That's why I say it's good to find people who are aware of the culture so they can actually distinguish, this is what abuse is. This is what the culture is. And then this is what you may have. Like
clear line.
Yeah. Like for example, going back to your third house, like your third house with that Mars and Leo, it's showing that there is a very distinct, there's always been conflict with communication in most of your life. One, because you're trying to process what's going on. Like you're trying to figure out what's happening in my life right now in this moment.
Absolutely.
You know, and no one's really answering that question for you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, it's usually you go to your dad's for that. Like that, she was like, hey dad, can you explain this? Like even in Turning Red, she's like, dad, why is mom this way? And he's like, well, because your mom, your grandma did not approve of our marriage, and your mom is that way because that's how she fights for love. She's aggressive because she fights for what she loves. That's why mom is so aggressive. She feels like the things that she's loved the most, she's had to fight for. So when she feels like you're threatened, she's incredibly aggressive. That's just how she is, But like when you don't have that extra parent there, or at least an older sibling or an elder there to explain that kind of thing to you, it can make you question your own self-worth. Like, oh, mom's yelling at me because I deserve it. I'm a horrible child. And like from the few people I've read who were Eastern or Southeastern Asian, that's like a common theme, is they all feel like, a lot of them felt like that they were burdening their families, even when they didn't want to, and they really cared about like their family's stability. They were just worried that they weren't doing enough for their family.
The load of that is too much on one. That's why community is supposed to be there to share that workload is what I'm getting out of this.
Yes.
And
that's what I noticed. Something else
there. So
you can confirm or deny this for me, because this is what I was told. In the more socialist countries that are more like as in like USS, like more China, Vietnam, Cuba, Korea, that when you have these more socialist countries, as a result of that government style, there's a lot more individualism in that country. However, when you leave the country and you come to like the diasporas or the States, there's a lot, that community is back. Like my friend, she's a Chinese immigrant, and she was like, the way you see Chinese Americans acting with all that community, that's not the same. It's not there in China, because it's the law, the being community is law, so everyone's a lot more. So when you don't have to follow the law, everyone's a lot more focused on, and also like the one child policy, obviously, everyone's more focused on themselves. So in America, because it's not the law to be a community, you see more of that collective commune. And she said it's kind of the same in Vietnam. I don't know what Vietnam's laws are, so I don't think they have a child policy like that. But because of the law is to say be more community, that like when you come to America, it's like a shift. Like the way the culture is practiced in the country versus outside of the country are two different things.
Right.
Did you experience the same thing when you came to the US?
Spot on, because it's sort of like comes automatic to help. It's like that. But then when I come here, and then I'm just like, oh. And so I'm just like, what is this lacking, or like not there of? Like what is missing? So
It
so
sounds like
I'm just like, maybe travelers coming to Vietnam. I'm sorry. But it's like people feel like, oh, their hospitalism, it's like way more there, because hospitality, yeah. It's just like it's so automatic. Which is a good thing. Which is a good thing. But
it's almost like
it shouldn't be expected, right? It's just
go from let's show off Vietnam to let's show off our culture, but then when you leave, it's like we have to preserve it now because we're not in our country anymore, so we have to preserve it a lot more. Whereas when you're in Vietnam, that's the native land of the culture, Yeah. So like, for example, like I was with my friends in like northern, I'm in Virginia, which is like it's near DC. So like there's a little bit, because the embassies are nearby, there's a lot of people from all the cultures around here. Like I went to a Vietnamese restaurant with some friends of mine, and my family's from Louisiana. Louisiana is a former French colony. And so I saw the back, I'm like, y'all have baguettes? And they're like, yeah, we were colonists with it. I'm like, me too. Hi, cousin. So it's like, even though like I'm obviously not Asian, it's like, oh my God, hi, I do that too, And so what I'm noticing with your chart though, it's like, because the thing about being a Scorpio is a very traumatized sign, extremely traumatized sign. It's a sign like, one thing I would say, Scorpios are signs that love getting readings from astrologers, because it's like someone's finally explaining to them why their life is so intense, And here's the thing you've got to be careful about, though, is Scorpios are really good at comforting people through dark times. All right. They're really good at that. The downside, though, is that when it's not a dark time, Scorpios don't know how to be optimistic. you know? Like if it's like, how do I explain? Like,
Mm.
like, oh, I'm in a room full of white people and no one said anything racist right now. I'm very concerned. This is a little too calm right now. You know, like a Scorpio thought is like, this is too comfortable. This is too quiet. I don't know how I feel about this, you know? Whereas like other signs just be vibing.
There is the expectation of like, why does it fit my perception of things, right?
Oh.
I'm saying
Versus like,
so comfortable.
for example,
But
some
yeah,
Scorpios will date
yeah.
an older person because it's like, oh, you're twice my age, so I know you're gonna die first. I know that there's gonna be a point in time that you will be gone, but I'm already prepared for that. Versus if it's someone their age, it's like I could lose you at any second, and I have no idea how to prepare for that. You know, like that. Like if you like Anna Nicole Smith, for example, she knew her husband was not gonna live that long. She was aware of that. He was aware of that. You know, they both got married knowing that. You know, but it's not for a Scorpio, it's not, it's more about how do I keep myself from experiencing the same trauma all over again, you know? And it's like, how do I keep myself from feeling?
That's absolute. That is too absolute. And I don't think that is going to be realistic. Am I coming from the? No, how is it not realistic if I, yeah. You're right though. It's just what I have to process. That's why
And also, if it helps you understand even more, and I don't know, did your mom ever come to the US with you, or did she go straight to Australia?
Just went straight to Australia. She came
Right.
for a visit once.
What did she have any commentary to give?
She always have something to say. It just yeah, just to like check on me and my mental health and help me in the way that she can. Although it makes a lot of sense though. It makes a lot of sense. But it's still a lot of like, oh, this is what I experienced, so you must be the same way. And I'm like,
how old is your mom?
She's like 46.
Oh, wow. Your mom's almost me and my sister have a 14-year age gap. So my sister just turned 40 this year. I'm just like, your mom's almost the same age as my sister. Wow. My parents had me late. So like a lot of my cousins are like in their late 30s. And I'm just like, wow. I don't interpret people in their 40s. I'm like, cousin, same age. And you know, and I'm asking because your mom's a Gen Xer. I think she's a Gen Xer. Yes. So your mom was born during a generation that's known for having relationship trauma. Like a lot of Gen X babies that I've read, it's just like, oh, these were kids who were born to divorced parents, or their parents were never married, or they were born to a single parent family, you know, or these people themselves are divorced. It's like the Gen Xers have a hard time maintaining stable relationships. But it also says that your mom's been in you said she's a Sag, right? Your mom's been in survival mode a good chunk of her life.
She's been what? I'm sorry.
She's been in survival mode for a good chunk of her life.
Until now.
Oh. And so, like, for example, what was next? Sixth house. And the thing is, your sixth house, which is the house of how you process things internally, that's also in Scorpio, you know? And if you notice, if you wonder, why do I process things so intensely? That is normal. For Scorpios, that is 100% normal. So I would say don't overthink that part of your personality. That is normal. Now,
Thank you.
what you do with it,
Oh
how you choose to act on it, that might be the part that's not normal. You know, because Scorpios, I say Scorpios feel if they're happy, it's intense. If they're sad, it's intense. If they're angry, it's intense. If they're hungry, everything is intense to Scorpios. Everything is always intense, you know. But your
can I go grab? I'll go grab water. I'll be right.
Yeah, that's fine. Hello, friends in the live stream.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so your fourth house, which is the house of how you experience emotions and how you experience family, that is in Leo. No, it's not. It's in Virgo. My bad. Virgo, the greatest sign in the zodiac. The greatest sign. No bias there whatsoever. None. And
You know.
I don't know what you're talking about. And so Virgo is the sign of complex logical understanding. Virgo represents like they can make the most complex of situations make sense. They can take the weirdest things and make them logical and practical. All right. But the thing about Virgo is also the sign of the analyzer. They're the hyper analyst. So, and this again, this might be a culture thing. A lot of you're used to being picked apart. And also, you're the oldest child. So you're used to being picked apart and 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 picked apart. But you should also, I don't know what your mom's moon, I don't know what your mom's moon sign is. Your mom may have some like
Taurus.
You said Taurus?
Taurus moon.
So if she's Earth sign placements show love by taking chaos and organizing it into something more practical. So her way of showing emotional care for you is trying to take things and make it more secure for the long term. So if you notice, she's always focusing on like long-term stuff.
Oh my God.
That's why.
Here's the gag of food right now that she just sent me money to buy, and I'm just like, Mom, hold on. But no, it is very practical. It's good to have secure like food stock.
Yeah, but here's the gag. I saw her sun's. I think about your mom. Her sun sign and her moon sign it's an aspect called an in conjunction. So because Sagittarius and Taurus cannot exist in the same space. So when your mom is focused on like, are my kids okay? She's only focused on, are my kids okay? When she's focused on having fun, she's only focused on having fun. She can't do both. So when your mom comes to you with all of that, she is not thinking of herself in that moment. She is completely 100% like, is my child okay? Is he good? What does he need?
Yeah.
Earth sign things, she takes like Earth sign moons take being a mother very seriously, And so, and I remember when the reading started, I was like, yeah, that's a mama's boy right there. Because your moon sign is in Cancer. All right. And Cancer obviously rules over the moon. This, not the third. I mean, moon rules over Cancer. Yeah. And so one of the things when you like, why are things more sporadic with me? Two things. Cancer is the sign of basic emotional expression. So Cancer, you have this Gemini rising and Cancer. Cancer expresses every individual emotion one by one by one by one by one. All right. But here's the other gag. You have that Mars and Leo. And Leo is action. So how you act on that emotion is obnoxious. It's very like big, So sometimes it may feel like, why do you act certain ways? It's just like, that's just how you are. Like, excuse me. Like you have a natural a natural habit of being performative. It's how do I say? What's considered being over dramatic and melodramatic for some people is like the default for you. That's just how you express, you know? And but the thing about Cancer moons that like they don't feel everything all at once. It's like if you're like Pisces and Scorpio, they can feel millions of emotions at the same time. Cancer cannot, you know. And how you internalize your mother, because it's yes, she has her moments where she's very, very cold, but yes, she has her moments where she's very, very expressive. But I'm not saying she made you soft. She didn't make you soft, but she is because you can see all the work your mom puts in to make sure that like the family is even though y'all are spread out everywhere, she makes sure y'all are okay. And what do your brothers do for a living?
I think I don't know what he's doing now. I think he works at a coffee shop the last time I checked. So, yeah. He's still doing school on top of that too.
Did you finish? Are you still in school or did you finish?
I finished.
What did you go to school for?
Oh, just general 2 years degree, college degree.
Just got your associates?
Yeah, my associate. Yeah.
And I was gonna.
We are broke.
What?
Too broke for school right now. So.
What was the dream job?
I don't have one right now because the limited options. I feel like once I get my green card and then I'll plan from there. So it's sort of just not there.
So, but what is something that you've always wanted to do?
Wanted to do? Oh my God. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have one.
Just notice something and I don't like it. So like, no, it didn't. So you know that all the signs have body parts, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Your rising sign is Gemini. What's Gemini rules over? The hands.
I
I'm just like,
I don't know where we're going, but
no, and I will say, like, I did learn the history of why so many Vietnamese people have nail shops, and I didn't realize how deep it was until no, I learned the history behind that, right? And I didn't realize how common it was until I was talking to my friend. He's like in medical school, right? I say, I gotta go to work. He's like, oh, where are you going? I'm thinking he's gonna like go to like work at a hospital, like interning or whatever. Yeah, because Gemini is hands, arms, shoulders. It's also the lungs and the nervous system. And he's like, no, I have to go work at a nail shop. I was like, nail shop? It's just like, he's like, I'm gonna go learn how to do surgery, and then I'm gonna go do nails. I'm like, what?
Oh right, yeah. I I can see it. I can really see it. Oh my God.
I'm like, this is so. I'm like, I don't know. Like, my brain's like, I know this is a culture thing, but this is iconically gay for some reason. This feels so camp, and I don't know why. You know. And so, like, with this moon in, I have a hunch. Could you see yourself doing something like architecture?
Organization, yes.
Or like interior design?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I can really see it. Yeah.
Because like I asked, because like I'm looking at your Venus is like not Venus, your Vesta. You see this astro next to your moon, the little thing with the torch next to your moon sign?
You can see it totally.
Yeah, Vesta represents like long-term devotion, which you devote your life to. And Cancer is a sign of the home, which is why I was like, devoting your life to the home. So that could be either a cleaning service, that could be like architecture, that could be like like there's many things that tie into the home. That could be gardening. It could be anything. You could open your own plant nursery. It can be a variety of different things, right? And so like, damn gnats. And so it really does vary. But like what I'm seeing with this moon sign is your mom shaped a lot of your identity in very subtle. Do you see yourself having kids?
Yes.
Like later, like much later down the road. Like obviously not now, but like
I can, but do I want kids? Yes.
I will say this. You're very like because I don't know why, but that's what I say. It has something to do with the home and the family. So if it's not a job with being job or something around the house, I'm like, okay. Oh, wait, I lied. I always say a water sign's goal.
So I'd say like nurturing. Oh my God.
Oh, let me clarify.
Sorry. Yeah.
Every sign wants to be like their polar opposite, right? So every water sign wants to be as stable and sturdy as the earth signs are. So like a lot of water sign, like, so for example, I could see, let's say you're still in this marriage a couple years from now. I could see you being the breadwinner. I don't know what your husband does for a living, but like I could like coming home in your suit and tie and food's ready. You know, but it varies, depends on what you do for a living. It varies. You know, Cancers, water signs want to be the emotional rock for people. They enjoy being the emotional rock for people. They enjoy helping people navigate their emotions.
Yep.
You know, because your fifth house, which is where you feel the most confidence, is in Libra. And Libra is about balance. It's about justice. Interesting. I wonder. You could be a lawyer. I don't know. Because like, you know, balance, justice, harmony. You feel the most confidence when you are around balanced, stable relationships. Mm-hmm. Oh, I also forgot to mention, because your mom has that Taurus moon, Tauruses show love through materialism. So if your mom like makes you something like like it's handmade, or she bought, or it's like
means
sends you pictures. Mm-hmm. She wants to keep. Tauruses show love by giving you memories and memorabilia. You know, so like let's say for example, like this is a horrible example, but like say like you kept every single package your mom sent you, and then let's say like, God forbid, she passes sometime soon. Well, no, not passes. No, I lied. Let's say like you set like an ancestral altar, you know, like altars for like honoring the ancestors, and you have not like an altar to your mom, but you know how in certain ceremonies we pay respect to our elders and our and the deceased people. You know, a way of showing love to your mom is like you have every single box that she's ever sent you, you know, because it's just like, even though like that'd be a lot of boxes to save, you know, it's memorabilia. These are sakes of your mom. Think she took the time to put all that stuff there and send it to you.
Sentimentality in through that for me. Yeah.
And I honestly, confidence through balance. If you don't end up working with something that involves like home improvement, like a home improvement type job, I could see you doing something with like, if you want. Have you ever considered being a therapist?
No, not at this point. Not right now. But yeah.
Or like a counselor or a lawyer?
I can be. I can do that. It just I don't feel as ready right now.
Yes, but what do you want is the question. I'm not asking you what I want.
Yeah.
And so sun signs and it's a lot of stuff down there. Also, I would be, huh? I'm very. How often do you get checked at the doctor?
Like physical?
Yeah.
No, not, mm, no.
You might want
Um,
to, you
there were points. Well, back in Vietnam, I was in and out of hospital for like quite often. There was
I
like
can
a lot.
tell. No, I asked that because it's like you have a lot of stuff sitting on like around your sixth house, and the sixth house is the house of health. And it's just like I'm seeing certain planets here. I'm just like, okay, there's a lot of health concerns here. But like, did you have chronic illness when you were young?
Um, Not chronic, but there was like a lump right here, and then it's just like sometimes it's skin, uh, stomach pain. Stomach pain is it's like recently, like right before COVID, I just sort of felt like it turned into like a rock in my stomach. Like it just feel like that's where I put all my stresses, but um, it still does now. Not as hard as it was right before COVID. Because I also just like lost my job. I yeah.
At the deli?
At a different restaurant. I just like lost my job, and so that I think that triggers like instability, and so that's when I'm just like and yeah. Um
Yeah, I think
Chronic.
I do think you should make your doctor's visits a little bit more common because like this, all this, the last time, the last Gemini rising, well, this is I don't use medical astrology that much, but the last Gemini rising I read a couple years ago, her name, she was a Gemini rising. I think she might have been a Scorpio. I don't remember though. She was pregnant. She was 8 months along. And I said, hey, sixth house in Scorpio, you might have issues giving birth. I would just get double check. I didn't think anything of it when I sent that. And messages me a month later, says that like she went to get checked and all the fluid in her womb was gone. It we don't know when it happened, but it just all the fluid was gone. So she had to go into emergency labor. Baby was born a month early. He's fine. The baby's fine. But she's just like, I'm so glad you said that, because if I hadn't all this sitting over here, it's concerning me a little bit, you know? And like if you say a lump in your neck, like relationship between, how do I say? Because some of our health is like just general health issues. Some of it might be mentally stimulated. Like sometimes bad mental health can cause the rest of our body to kind of like
No,
cave
I
in.
believe that a lot.
And so like I'm with all this
Like
sitting up
firmly.
here. What?
Oh, like I firmly believe that. So yeah.
Yeah. And so I my concerns, I just think get checked to make sure everything's okay. Because the last thing you want is that you build yourself up to be like, I'm ready to chase after my dreams. And then it's like you get a terminal disease that's been building for years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because with
How
Scorpio,
serious
Scorpios
is
have,
it?
so what?
How serious is it?
Well, I mean, it's Scorpio is a sign of death, love. So I'm just like anything that prevents you from dying. I'm not saying you're going to die immediately, but like I don't know if it's like a hormone disorder or like if you were born with a hormone imbalance or
Get a checkup. Yeah.
yeah, like get the blood test run. Just make sure everything's running swell under the hood. Because like, where is your question? How was school for you growing up?
Um, Sorry, it's just like either a person or like a dog is barking. I'm just like, school. Hmm. I did not do very well in school, period. And just like for the longest time, I don't think Maybe because I'm not interested. Yeah, I'm just not interested in like long study. My mom my mom kept telling me that I just don't have the knack for school, let's just put it that way, for like study. So even like the whole like sending me here in the US to like do my studying and everything, like they fully support that, but then it just didn't come, it just something doesn't click. It's just like I never gone that far. Like I'm always like meh, like a B C plus students like back in school if I
Yeah,
can compare it
I
to
think
the
you.
system here.
So that's also is like a slight. I saw someone take an MRI of someone's an MRI scan of the brain of someone with ADHD, and all brain activity shut off when they made her watch a video that she didn't really care for. And even though it's like she knew she had to watch it, her brain would not allow her to focus.
Mm,
It would not allow her to focus. So it's
mhm.
like because I really they said that some people with who don't have ADHD can actually turn off the part of their brain that makes them daydream and focus on stuff. I've never been able to do that ever, but people who don't have ADHD can do that, and so like that's why apparently, I mean, I've never lived a life without it, so I wouldn't know what it feels like. But if you notice that, like, even when you know something is important and you can't bring yourself to focus or care for it, even though you're aware of how important it is, and you don't really, unless you're like put under extreme levels of pressure to do it,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
might be a sign of neurodivergency.
Okay. That
Because
makes.
like your ninth house is an Aquarius, which means that like you grow and you learn best when you get to like innovate something, when you can like tinker with something. If it's that's why I said that's why my question was like, oh, do you what
Yeah.
about interior design, architecture, hell, maybe entrepreneurship? I don't fucking know. But like it seems like whenever you can do something that allows you to come in and either create or fix or upgrade, that does not mean work in IT, you know. And I'm gonna be honest with you, because the university I went to was a medical campus. It's not as easy as it looks. It's not. They always say be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. Do you know how many people have that plan to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer? That issue's competitive as hell. That's why I didn't major in it. But like all the kids who I saw who had the most stress were the ones in those fields. So I would say be mindful. If you do go back to school anytime soon, don't pick it solely on the fact of like, oh yeah, this is going to be stable. Every job field has its money making jobs within it. You just have to be smart about it. So I would have, if you're going to go back to school, do it for something you want to do, not something you feel like you have to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, yes. Yeah.
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 And so like with your Jupiter, and I don't like this, I really don't like that placement for you. Your Jupiter is also in Scorpio. And this is my other concern. Jupiter in Scorpio means expansion and growth through trauma.
I had it earlier.
Meaning that like you may be like, I'm fine with the way my life is. And then shit hits the fan. And it's like right when you get comfortable, and then when things calm down, you're like, okay, I see how that
Like,
happening ended up being
honestly,
good for
at some
me.
point, I'm just like, what's the point of stability anymore? So I just accept that it is unstable. Like life and change is a matter of course. And it's sort of just align everything. If I
Yes.
sort of just like, I literally just let go of that, of just like, okay, don't even think about it. Like I can't even comprehend it to start with. So don't, why bother? But that also just put me in this position of like, oh, I don't, even think about having a dream job. I don't even think.
See, but here's the difference.
But then, yeah.
The struggle is a part of life. But it's almost like instead of trying to build,
but then I'm missing out.
Instead of trying to build a dam that keeps breaking, don't build a dam, build a watermill. Do you know what a watermill is? Yeah.
Can you repeat that?
So if instead of trying to build a dam that keeps breaking, build a watermill instead. Because modern day dams are used to generate electricity. If you just build a watermill, you don't have to worry about the dam breaking.
Oh. Okay. So like self-sustain. Like
It's you go with the current, not against it.
Against it. Okay. But also pace myself to go with it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because the thing about Jupiter in Scorpio is that this placement's a bitch. This placement is a entire bitch. And so what it does is like, again, it'll put you, I've met a lot of Jupiter and Scorpios who fought change. They were like, I don't want change. And they're like, oh, I remember a Taurus and they didn't want to change. And like, and they would say, how do I explain this? They didn't want things to change. And I'm just like, well, get over it. you know, it's like the more you try to maintain this ideal life you're living, the more painful it's going to be when you lose it. So get used to it now, you know? And Scorpios they don't want certain pains to repeat themselves. Cycles are going to repeat. It's just, do you know what to do when it does? That's the challenge. If you know what to do when it does happen, you'll be a lot more prepared to grow from it and truly evolve, you know? Because like, where is your Saturn? You're a 94, baby. So your Saturn's probably in Pisces. Yep, it's in Pisces. So Saturn in Pisces is like, Saturn is your biggest limitation. It's what holds you back the most, you know? And it's your limit. It's the things you have to take responsibility for. You have a fear of the unknown. And I mean, that's normal. Karl Marx had a fear of the unknown. I want to punch him if he ever comes back to life. for way up, just like you created a generation of people who always quote you, but never live up to any of the shit you wrote. Like, irks me, you know? And with Saturn and Pisces, it's take responsibility for your potential. That's what that means. Take responsibility for the possibilities, what could come next, what might come next. Take responsibility for all the things you could do, you know, because Saturn rules over your 10th house. Your 10th house is in Pisces, which means that like the midheaven is like your highest point of achievement, all right? Your highest point of achievement is the potential things you could be doing. It doesn't mean sit there and be like, I have a lot of potential. That's my biggest, isn't like, do it. You could be doing it. You have all that water in your chart. It's like you have a water trine like that creates a free flow of water. If water energy flows very naturally throughout your chart, you know? So use that water to you if you use that water to segue into the things you want. Like take that water, it's like watering a plant. You know, if you water the plant, it grows. So water the plant that is your happiness.
Okay. Yes. I get it.
Yeah. Also, why are you so afraid of the unknown?
Fear.
Is it a self-imposed fear, or did someone put that fear into you?
Mm, fear of the unknown. That's why I was like, uh, yeah, no, now that I'm thinking about it, just give me a moment. No, there is part of me that fears that, and that just sort of like thinking about, oh, just wouldn't it be normal to like fear, to know fear, to fear, more like to know fear than to fear, because well, fears will potentially makes me doing things that don't make sense, but
In the
also
words of Master Yoda, fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to the dark side.
yeah, and then trust and all of that issues. Oh my god. um,
Yeah.
yeah, why fear?
You said what?
I'm just like, why fear the unknown? It's
Because
the
white
unknown.
people. Joking. Say because white people. Me Johnson. So like that's everything is in fucking Scorpio. God damn it.
I think it's the work of the mind, but who knows?
You said what?
It's just the work of the mind. Mm.
But where is it? I don't know how I feel about that placement. So there's Deianira. It's where that Dejan is. Your Deianira is your planet of victimization. The planet of victimization of how you've been in toxic coping mechanisms. And yours is in Aquarius, right? And that is when Deianira in Aquarius is when, like, Aquarius is the sign of like humanitarianism. It's a sign of innovation and technological upgrades, right? And with this can be invalidation through, like, imagine you're talking and someone's like, there's people dying in the world, Ethan. We don't care about your emotions right now. Like, or the world's coming to an end. We don't care about your emotions right now.
You mean like you mean like just the mind talking to itself like that?
No, in general, like victimized by Aquarius energy just means that like toxic Aquarius energy is like having individual needs invalidated or having the needs of the group invalidated. It varies, it fluctuates. It doesn't mean that Aquariuses are going to hurt you, but it just means that like the victimization in your life takes the form of Aquarius energy. That does not mean that Aquariuses are the source of your pain. It does not mean that.
Right.
You know, but something like
is, yeah.
So what?
The form is like what's an example?
The principle of it all. An example, like, hey doctor, I feel sick. Oh, you'll be fine. Just take some aspirin. And it turns out it's like stomach cancer.
Mm.
You know, and if the doctor had like just listened to her the first time, she may not have had that issue.
Mm. I see. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Where do you experience that?
Oh, probably just telling myself, it's health, like health issues, like overlooking it, like not even thinking about it. That's where I'm missing out. And
His
that's where
timing is impeccable, by the way.
it's time for one.
I was like, his timing is impeccable. I'm like, that's the word of all the times. It's when I'm saying something negative about Aquarius. I don't want him to think I'm shit talking him. I'm not.
No, you're fine.
And so you said what?
Oh no, you're fine. Yeah.
But your Nessus, which is your abuse planet, is in Scorpio. which means abuse takes the form of, what's the word? Abuse takes the form of lots of emotional manipulation, lots of emotional gaslighting. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I think people took advantage of your naiveness when you were younger. Like it's like Scorpio. I don't know how. It's a lot of mind fuckery. That's all. Like that's the best way I can. It's a lot of just. Scorpio wants to be in control. They need to be in control. Their mind says, "I need to control blank." You know, and they may not realize when they and their need for being in control is they don't feel safe. But what happens when your need to be in control is hurting someone else? So this is how you are abusive, where you may feel like I need to be in control of something. I need to make sure that this is under my control, under my terms, and you're not realizing that you're making the situation worse.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah. And then everything else is in Scorpio. And then another one's in Scorpio. And then another one's in Scorpio. Where is...
Well, maybe it just, if I think of it as in, you said earlier, to just go with the flow instead of against the current, that and the whole like controlling matter, then it makes sense for me to just be like, okay, well, maybe I think that it's better this way right now, but just hear them out and do it, because that may be the flow. That is the flow.
Yeah. Whereas like with Chiron is the wounded healer. And Chiron and Virgo is like the wound of perfectionism, where you constantly feel broken. Like you feel like there's something inherently wrong with you. Like you're on the island of unwanted toys, which you make everyone else feel fine. Like you know how to make the people around you feel safe and secure and stable, but you can't quite give that to yourself.
Yeah, that is true.
Why?
Why? Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. It just as is. Try to make a difference.
For who?
Why can't I make a difference for myself? That is the question, though. Why can't I do it? Yeah, I should think about that one.
Yes. Yes, you should. And so with your, where is Lilith? Lovely. And so your Lilith is in Taurus. And Lilith in Taurus, this placement, what does that placement mean? This placement is a good intentions gone bad. So like, imagine someone who goes to the same bar on the same day of the week, every week, and they get drunk. That's what they do. It's just a thing to do. Right? And they could have work the next morning at 6 a.m. They still go to that same bar. It's like, And for them, this is like their reward, it's their happy space. But the problem is because they're so stuck on this one root, this one thing, it's hurting the rest of their life. Don't suppress your rewards and your accomplishments and your sense of prosperity for the sake of somebody else's stubborn emotional fixations. So for example, like if you have something that you do that brings you happiness, that you've earned, that you've invested a lot of time and money and energy into, you know,
I can't take a shortcut, maybe. That is what my mind went to. Where my mom also told me about it. Where it's just like, why do I have to go the long way? But it's my way versus like going the way that she's already telling me, which like basically the shortcut. Why do I have to go the other way? It's self-growth. Maybe that's why I'm stuck there. It's sort of like, okay, I have to go through these traumas and self-inflicting pain and all of this crap that's going on until something in here clicks, which is like, who wants to learn it like that? But it is.
Did you have to go through the trauma? Did you have to?
No, I don't. God damn it. Yeah. What the fuck? But I don't know. It doesn't become like a reflex. So maybe that's why I'm doing all of this. Or maybe, yeah, that's why I'm just like, it doesn't click yet. So because like someone would be like, okay, don't touch hot stuff. But like,
remember that Nessus and Scorpio I told you about, where you do things for the sake of being in control?
Okay. Yeah. I see it now.
And the reason I say don't suppress your prosperity is because if you suppress it, it's going to come out toxic. Meaning like when if you suppress it, you're going to engage in it in a way that's going to hurt you more than it will harm you, and it won't be prosperity anymore. It'll just be self-sabotage.
Mine ever like, stop worrying. And then the next minute, it's like, woo, it's all happened. Hello.
And so,
Want to come up?
Interesting. You have a placement called Apophis, right? And Apophis is over there in Sagittarius. This one concerns me just a wee bit because Apophis is like oblivion, but it's also like evil. Oh wait, you don't get that reference. Never mind. I was like, never mind, you don't get that reference. It's an old one. It's in Sagittarius. When you, how the fuck do I explain this shit? Imagine something that's always out to destroy you, and no matter how many times you kill it, it keeps coming back. So it's like, it's almost like, oh, damn. Your mom is trying to help you grow and move forward, and you keep shooting down her advice again and again and again. And every time you shoot it down, it comes back to offer you a hand out of the boiling lava. And you're like, no, I got it. And, you know, and it's like, no matter how many times you fail, your mom always comes back to try to help you again. And so if you keep destroying progress, progress will destroy you.
Okay.
Well, like, it's like, if you keep fighting against your progress, then everyone else's progress will destroy you, is what I mean. Because it's hindering you from growing.
Right, because they have to grow too. So it's just like, the fuck?
You'll get left behind.
It's like, yeah, everybody will outgrow, and then I'm just over here playing catch up.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's my slight concern.
Mm.
Ever so slight. You know? Now your last placement, hold on, let me pull it. Let me pull it up really quick. It's your vertex. And it's hold on, let me get my notes.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Without the door, hey, everything good? Oh, you muted by accident. 1 second.
Hello? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. And so where is your vertex is in Libra. So and it's in the 5th house. So vertex in Libra. This placement indicates emotional addictive problems and fixed ideas. In this time, you will be drawn into learning how to bridge opposing factions, to mediate compromises, and to restore fairness. And you will bring harmony out of conflicting situations. You must not take sides or impose the personal ego. The need is to make no judgments and establish a harmony that will benefit the whole. This position of the vertex is very dependent on others, so you must learn to make choices and detach often. Otherwise, you will be clinging to a past that is no longer valid. The vertex in Libra tends to fix unconsciously in people, and it expects you to bring opposing factions together. Then you will be expected to advise and arbitrate on a fair and equal basis, or seek a satisfactory compromise. And you will develop a sense of fair play to help yourself and others move forward. And you will be expected to cultivate the art of compromise and detachment. If you do these things, you will feel useful in the world and offset a tendency you have to worry about your health. And you will put aside personal ego and relationships, and you will accept the need for balance in your life. If you do not accomplish these things, you will become judgmental and you will become demanding and you will sabotage your relationships. Now, with the vertex being in the 5th house, the vertex in the 5th house is called the lover. That's because Leo is the ruler of this house. You are very creative by nature and you have a great artistic ability. Romance and love are very important to you. You fall in and out of love and you look for that special person. A weakness here is that you become neglectful of all else in your life except your ideal love. A 5th house vertex will yield an 11th house anti-vertex. And this indicates that you do not realize that you are more accepted and wanted by your friends than you realize. You must accept those things. And you will need to accept that your social skills and the potential that can come from working with others. And that's because you realize that you are more goal oriented than you are understood, than you understand. And that's your whole chart. Do you have any questions? Well, how do you feel?
Thank you. That's all I can say. It was good. I'm gonna, yeah.
Do you have any questions for me, friend?
No.
What's going through your mind right now?
That I have to definitely go back and listen to this again to just contemplate about it, because of course it's just like, yes, everything makes sense, everything from my point of view, it's just like everything makes sense and everything flows. It's just like it doesn't sit, it doesn't stay grounded yet, because maybe it's
Processing.
Processing.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, if you do think of any questions, you can just shoot me an email. You know that, right?
Yeah. Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. You take care, friend. Bye.